Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to show you how you can save money replacing broken lenses on your car that evil swines have bumped into in the parking lot. Then water got inside and started ruining it. When I wipe it off, you can see inside. Check it out. Look closer, you can see all the paint inside is bubbling up because it got wet from a crack. And sure, that's annoying. But even more annoying is they're almost $200 at the Toyota dealer. So, something I normally don't do, I did. I went online and bought a beautiful one. Instead of 200 bucks, this one cost 50 bucks, brand new. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is on most cars to change them. Open the trunk, then when we go to it, we can see that's not even part of the lens here. This is the lens. There's no nuts and bolts to see. It's all done internally. So it's always a good idea to have a new one first, because then you can just turn it back and say, aha, 1, 2, 3 bolts, nuts on the inside, so we got to get to them to unbolt them. Whenever you got to change any kind of part like that, you get a new one, you can look at it and see exactly how it comes apart. Any part can be done that way. You have the new one in your hand, even like a starter, you can see, oh, okay, it's got 3 bolts here. That's what I have to take off. Always look at the new one to make sure you're taking off the old one right without wasting a lot of time. Now we got to get in here, so this is just a cover. Now we can get in here. So we just pop this cover off. We can actually access the whole thing inside now. Now that we can access it, first thing we do is just unplug this, these stupid tangs. There's always a clip somewhere. There it is, right here. You put your finger on it. Easier with 2 hands, but one's holding the camera, so we'll try it this way. There, now that's off. Now as you can see here, the bolts are long. So you get a 10mm deep socket to get on, to unbolt them inside. That way it fits over because there's not much working room. That fits over, then you can easily unbolt them. You start them, then you can use your finger after that. It's not rocket science, but if you don't have the long socket, the short ones will not fit. You can see it's long. I'm turning. There it goes. I lost it, fell inside. A magnet on a stick comes in handy. We can just stick it in there and fish it out. You can't beat magnet on a stick. They come in handy. Then there's just 2 more to remove. There's the second one. And with some more twisting, like I say, they're long threads. Takes a while of spinning to get them off. Sometimes they get a little bit carried away here. There's the third one. Now you might think you didn't get them all off, but there's 3 on a new one, so there's 3 here. You gotta pull like mad sometimes. They'll stick. You can hear it clicking. There, we got it off. Transfer the parts. The sockets come out, 2 and 3. Out they come. If you notice, these are regular incandescent bulbs, but this is an LED. That's because these are backup light LEDs that are super bright, and I like it. I'm getting old, can't see as well, right? So I put in these super bright LED backup lights, so not only can people see you backing up, but you can see better because it throws more light. Not a bad idea. They don't cost that much money. And of course, they just go in and twist inside. You gotta get them at the right angle. Okay, there's 1, and there's 2, twist, and 3. Now they're all in. You can see the bulbs are all in. Now before I put it back in, you can see there's a lot of crud around here. We just blow it out of the way. But the main thing is, it has to be clean here, because that's the seal. The seal goes on it. As you can see on the old one, it's kind of dirty and crunched up. And this is a new seal here. Make sure it's slide on right. Make sure the gaskets are in place. Line up the holes. There. Fits pretty good. But here's a tip. Sometimes when people hit them, they bend stuff. And that little metal bends and they don't fit right. What you can do is, you can get a drill bit that's bigger than this and make the holes a little bit wider so you got some playroom to slide it in on bent metal. It doesn't matter. You can see how wide the seal is. So if you make these holes bigger, there's no water going to get inside. It'll still seal it, but it would fit here better if some of that's bent. You can just ream them out with a bigger drill bit. But in this case, as you can see, it fits in good by itself. It didn't bend anything. But before we bolt it on, let's connect it and make sure everything works right. We'll turn it on. Parking lights, that's working right. Check the turn signal, that's working fine. And check the backup lights, and that's working fine on both sides. As you can see, they're super bright backup lights. They're really great. Now we can bolt it back on. Don't forget to do all 3. There we go. Nice shiny new tail light. We'll just stick this back on. Little cover. Nice that they have this cover. Some cars, yes, it's a bigger pain. You got to take all this plastic crap, but Toyota was smart and put a cover on. Don't just snap the cover back on. These are getting them on and off. You always want to have one of these covers because then when you close the trunk, the people look inside, it's tinted, but you still can't see. The cover covers everything up. So if you got stuff in there, people don't see anything open. And where people can't see, they won't steal. And so rather than spending $200 at the Toyota dealer, I spent 50 bucks online and fixed it myself. You can see, it's not that big of a deal. And like I said, even if it had been hit further and bent in and bent those little metal tanks, you can fix that easy yourself by getting a drill, making little slots so you have more room to maneuver to slide the thing back in. I've done that innumerable times for customers over the last 52 years. Rather than saying, oh, you gotta go to a body shop, yada, yada, yada. You can always improvise if you only have a brain. And since this is Mechanic Monday, I'm going to give away an interesting product I've been testing out. It's called Trusted Crayon Markers. And you might think, what's Scotty doing with crayons? I'm no good with crayons, but these are special crayons. These Trusted crayons are work crayons. They write on anything. You're working on a car, you want to mark parts, where things go. They work on plastic. As you can see, I'm not any good at drawing. They work on metal. They work on just about any surface. Junkyards use these things all the time. They mark parts. They generally get totally wrecked cars. They start taking the engine and transmission out. They'll write what year, what size engine it is. Sometimes they'll write the mileage, but a lot of times they lie on that. If it's got 150, they might say it's got 65,000 when they write it out. You can't always trust them. But you can trust these little crayons. Hey, they really work quite well if you need to mark anything. You forget which way something goes before you take it off. Put an arrow marking that way in. They're real handy little crayons. They even work on concrete. And I'll be giving away a case of these cool crayons. To have a chance to win, place a clean, non-offensive comment on the YouTube comments below, and a winner will be chosen randomly by computer to get these cool colored crayons for when you're working on your car, or maybe your kids want to play around with them. They really do work quite well. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Now here's an interesting question. Stubon1023 says, Scotty, hope you're having a great day. I was wondering if semis are better made than Toyotas. Okay, well that's actually kind of an interesting, even though you're comparing apples and oranges, it's a very interesting question. Semi-trucks are well made because they're commercial vehicles. And Toyotas are well made because Toyota generally makes good vehicles, and that's how they went from making little puddle jumpers to taking over and selling more cars than everybody else in the world by making quality vehicles. The semis, it's a different situation, but same kind of idea. They have to make their things well built because they're commercial vehicles that companies are buying. Let's say one company made horrible trucks. The other company makes better ones. They're going to buy the other ones because these people are looking at the bottom line. They want to see how many million miles they last. They actually analyze everything. A lot more than an average person analyzes what they spend on their car. They have to be well made. That's one of the reasons that for ages in the United States, for quite some time, especially recently, the trucks, pickup trucks, are better made than a lot of the cars. Because the pickup guys are particular. A lot of them use them for businesses. If they fell apart, so let's say they had a Ram truck and it fell apart, they're going to say, on that, and they'll go buy a Ford truck, right? There's a lot of competition, and they got to build them better because people use them for commercial things. So the semis, yeah, they're well built because they're commercial vehicles. And generally, you get better built stuff then because the companies that buy them are really analyzing a lot more than an average person analyzes the car they're buying. Tommy Tom 10 says, I got a 2011 F250. I get an overheating message displayed every once in a while. When it does, engine loses power. Intermittent generally means there's some kind of either computer or wiring fault. There's a switch for your engine oil temperature, and for some reason the wiring wasn't made that well. So what you want to do is, with it just idling, go to the engine oil temperature sensor, wiggle it. And if you wiggle it and then you start getting weird things and the light starts coming on, that means that wiring harness has got a problem inside. Cut the old one off and splice in a new wire. It's kind of a design flaw of those things, but you know, anytime you get any kind of intermittent problem like that, the first thing you want to do is go to all the sensors and start wiggling them. And if you wiggle them and it starts acting up, you know the problem is there. And in this case, the sensors themselves are generally okay. They're bolted onto the engine. They don't do anything. But the wiring harnesses were kind of weak. They short out. And you wiggle them, then they do that. And of course, when you hit bumps and stuff, it'll make it happen intermittently because then it's getting the power, it isn't getting power, and it makes the engine light come on. So check that oil temperature sensor first. It's a known flaw in those. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.